First Rule of Climate Club by Carrie Firestone, a First Chapter Friday read-aloud video with the Word Nerd. Today, as you listen, watch for the story quote that will appear on screen. Write it down word by word and then follow the instructions given to you by your teacher. Stay all the way to the end to see if you've written it down correctly. Hi, my name is Zieba. Welcome to my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd, and another First Chapter Friday video. This week, I'm going to be reading to you from The First Rule of Climate Club by Carrie Firestone. Now, as I record this, it is February, but perhaps you'd want to use this in April, closer to Earth Day. It is all about ways we can help the environment. I learned so much from this book, even though it's fiction. There's so much great information about the things that the students in this book are trying to do to help the environment, and I just loved learning about it along with finding out what happened in their fictional world. If you like books about people standing up for what they believe in, if you like books that have large casts of characters, you're going to love this book. So I'm going to read you the blurb so you know what it's about besides, the environment and helping the environment. And then I'm not going to read you the first chapter. I'm actually going to read you the first 5 chapters, which all happen in pages 1 through 10. So bonus today, not First Chapter Friday, it's 5 Chapter Friday. All right, here we go. When Mary Kate Murphy joins a science class focused on climate change, she becomes aware of a lot of things she never noticed before about her small suburban town. Kids waste tons of food at school without a second thought. Parents leave their cars running in the pickup lane all the time. People buy lots of clothes they don't really need. Some of her friends who live in the city and are bused to her school don't always feel included. And the mayor isn't willing to listen to new ideas for fixing it at all. Mary Kate and her friends have big plans to bring lasting change to their community and beyond, because now is the time for young people to lead and for the leaders to follow or get out of the way. If you recognize Carrie's name, she is also the author of Dress Coded, and some of the characters that we were introduced to in that book show up in this book. You don't have to read Dress Coded to understand this book. In fact, I haven't read that book, and I still totally got this book. But if you liked that one and you want more of Carrie, this is the book for you. Chapter 1 is called The Letter That Starts It All. Dear Parent or Guardian, I am pleased to announce that Fisher Middle School has received a generous grant to fund a climate science pilot program this year. The class will explore how and why climate change is happening and how we can use community-based projects to take action. Out of over 100 application essays submitted by students in March, the following rising 8th graders have been selected to participate: Elijah Campbell, Sean Hill, Benjamin Lettle, Andrew Limsky, Jay Mendez, Rabia Mohammed, Mary Kate Murphy, Lucy Perlman, Rebecca Phelps, and Hannah Small. Warning: this class will be a lot of work. Please talk to your child and make sure they're ready to commit. We will still cover standard 8th grade science concepts, but this class is not going to be a traditional class. If you and your child are on board, please sign and return the attached form. Congratulations to all the students. I can't wait to get started. Scientifically yours, Mr. Ed Liu. One other cool thing, I'm just going to jump in here real quick. We get to see the application essay that each of the students wrote as we go throughout the book, and it helps us to get to know them a little bit more and a little bit about 10 different specific aspects of the environment, many of which I hadn't thought of before. Chapter 2 is called The Fairy House Village. My climate class acceptance letter is stuck to the refrigerator door with an E magnet, next to a picture of my new baby niece, Penelope, and a post-it reminding Dad to buy more back pain cream. All the inspirational E-magnet words aren't working for me right now because I'm not eager or enthusiastic or excited about starting school tomorrow. My best friend Lucy has been sick the whole summer, and nobody knows what's wrong with her. I would have been eager, enthusiastic, and excited to be in this climate class with Lucy. Instead, I'm going to be sitting with a group of kids I barely know. I text Lucy, "Berry Village?" But she doesn't text back, which means she's sleeping, having a really sick day, or mad at me for even asking. I'm almost 13 years old, and I'm going to build a fairy house by myself. But Lucy and I promised each other we would do it every year the day before school starts for good luck, and we really need good luck right now. So I put on my shoes, call my dogs, Murphy and Claudia, to come with me, grab my backpack, and walk out the side door. My backyard and Lucy's backyard are separated by a huge nature preserve, which was donated to our town by a family who must have had a crystal ball and seen that if you don't specifically say, this piece of land can never be used for anything but enjoying nature, it would eventually turn into a Dunkin' Donuts or a car dealership or a nail salon. Not many people visit the preserve, probably because there aren't really any trails. It's just one hunk of beautiful land with a sledding hill and a meadow and a pond and a vernal pool in spring and crumbling stone walls and woods surrounding all of it. I walk around our barn, which is now a big garage with an upstairs room, follow the path through the woods to the top of the sledding hill, and cut through the sunflowers at the edge of the meadow. Most people wouldn't notice the fairy village if they made their way into the woods. It looks like some creature randomly dropped piles of bark and twigs, but we know. Lucy and I and the fairies have a lot of secrets hidden here. When we were younger, we spent entire days collecting pine cones and lost feathers and interesting stones and acorns and fallen flower petals. We built fancy fairy houses and did all kinds of fairy summoning rituals I can't remember anymore. But I don't feel like doing any of that. Right now, I want to build a house, get the good luck, and go home. I pick up a few sturdy sticks and lean them against a fallen trunk that's covered in moss. I leave a space for the fairies to come and go and cover the little lean-to with soft pine needles. I drop stones around the house and scatter handfuls of leaves on the roof. It's not our best house, but it's good enough. Sleep well, fairies, I wish, and please, bring us some luck. On the bus. My neighbor Molly and I have been sitting together on the bus since I was in kindergarten and she was in first grade. We used to get harassed by Molly's older brother Danny, who calls us Frog and Toad for some reason, but Danny is living with his grandma in New York, so Frog and Toad have a break this year. Do you like my tank top? I ask, sliding into the seat across from my other neighbor Will. I love your tank top, Molly says. It really emphasizes those shoulders. Thank you, my queen, I say, because I'm very grateful that Molly and her friends started a protest against our school's dress code this past June, which ended with the school district letting us wear pretty much whatever we want. Remember how scared you were when school started last year, Molly says, eating your granola bar? I thought you were going to throw up. I wasn't looking forward to 7th grade. What Molly doesn't know is that I wasn't scared. I was annoyed. I didn't know how I was going to go from an entire summer of frogging and tree climbing to being pushed down a crowded hallway 8 times a day. I'm gonna miss seeing you, Molly says. Now I'm the one about to throw up. The high school has way too many people I don't know. Say something to distract me. Like what? I don't know. Tell me about the podcast. Are you still going to do it? I doubt it. Why not? It was really good. I don't feel like talking about Bearsville with Molly. It's embarrassing. Will shoves his phone in our faces to show us his summer camp girlfriend, and Molly spends the rest of the bus ride asking questions he doesn't know the answers to. Do you think you'll see her before next summer? I don't know. Is she going to camp next summer? I don't know. The bus stops in front of the high school, and Molly makes a "oh" sound. You've got this, Molls, I say. You're a queen, remember? Will and Molly jump off the bus, and Molly runs over to her friends, Navia and Bee. I watch them go to the high school as the bus rolls out of the circle toward the first day of 8th grade. The next chapter is called Failure to Launch. I tried to start a podcast this summer. It was called All's Well in Bearsville, but I changed All's Well in Bearsville after the first episode because there's a lot more than one bear in this town. It was supposed to be about why bear hunting in our state is inhumane and how to deal with climate change and interesting nature stories. The Bearsville idea came from Molly, who used a podcast to start the dress code protest, and then dress coded a podcast, ended up inspiring people all over the country to fight their own school dress codes. Bearsville, on the other hand, never really went anywhere. Maybe it was because the state had already passed a law banning bear hunting, or because the people I interviewed used a lot of science words. My cousin in Florida said the interview with the professor about climate change and frogs was kind of boring. My other cousin said the questions I asked the tree expert were too smart. Molly said it's really well done, Mary Kate, but people have a lot going on in the summer. One of my mom's regular customers at the bookstore looked at the Bearsville flyer on the bulletin board and said, I'm more of a book person than a podcast person. The only people who actually listened to all 3 episodes were my 91-year-old grandmother and her roommate Linda in Florida, and Lucy, who gave me a lot of content ideas. Then Lucy got sick, and I got distracted, and it was easy to let go of something that only had 3 listeners. It might have been different if I could have actually interviewed the bears, the frogs, and the trees. Lucy texts right as the bus is turning down the long Fisher Middle School driveway. On the way to another ologist. Come over after school. Good luck. This is the last chapter I'll read you. Lucy and the ologists. Lucy started acting strange at the end of school last year. At first, I just thought she was mad at me. Every time I asked her to meet at the pond, she said she didn't feel good and needed to take a nap. Then I was afraid she was getting sick of me, or that maybe she wanted to hang out with her basketball friends. But then I heard my mom on the phone with her mom. Have you tested her for anemia? What about blood sugar issues? I mean, narcolepsy, but the symptoms don't add up. Why would you think her food was contaminated? That's so odd. You're right. It does sound like anxiety. It got worse. Every time they went to her house, all she wanted to do was sleep. Then she felt better for a while, at least good enough to go down to the pond one afternoon and wait for the bats to come out. Lucy is obsessed with bats, but even then her legs hurt and she had shooting pains in random places and squishy sounds in her ears and blurry vision and a burning tongue, and she was constantly worried about bugs getting in her mouth, so she didn't want to talk. I'm going to go home and sleep a little, she said. I'll be back for the bats. She was never back for the bats. Lucy went to a psychiatrist, a mental health doctor, because she doesn't want to do anything or talk to anyone. She's not herself at all. They gave her anxiety medication, but it hasn't helped. She went to a neurologist, a brain doctor, because she's forgetting words, and now she has this thing where she jerks her arms and blinks her eyes over and over again. Then a gastroenterologist, a summer doctor, because onions and milk and a lot of other food was making her nauseous. And a rheumatologist, a joint doctor, because her whole body hurts, but nobody knows what's wrong with Lucy. Today she's going to a urologist. She doesn't know that I know, but I overheard my mom talking to her mom again. It's scary and embarrassing, and I'll never tell anyone, but Lucy has been wetting the bed. Before the last ologist appointment, Lucy said, no matter what, Mare, I'm going to school. I'm not making you walk into that place alone. That was a week ago. No matter what has come and gone. So I'll be totally honest, it is that plot line of Lucy and her illness that sucked me into this book and pulled me all the way through. I loved the rest of it too. I learned a lot and I really enjoyed the other characters, but I just had to know like what was up with Lucy, and you do find out. So if you want to find out, you can pick up a copy of The First Rule of Climate Club by Carrie Firestone from your school library, purchase one from your favorite indie bookstore, or grab it via the link in the description box. I hope you do all sorts of good things for the planet. We only have one, so let's not mess it up any more than we already have. Happy reading, and I'll see you again next time. To continue reading The First Rule of Climate Club by Carrie Firestone, pick up a copy from your school library, purchase one from a local indie bookstore, or grab it via the link in the description box. Then be sure to check out the rest of the First Chapter Friday playlist. I have over 100 middle grade and young adult novels waiting for you. This week's mystery quote says, "We can all activate our superpowers to heal the earth." Thanks for stopping by my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd. Please remember to like this video and subscribe. You can find more content from me at these great places. See you again next time, and happy reading!